I need a cuppa of tea. Hello. Hope you're all doing well. If not, I at least hope that your night improves. Hello, Bree. And hello, Adam. So, tonight, we're going to be using the Cats Rule the Earth Tarot. Because cat. The Beloved Dud Oracle. And the Embroidered Graveyard Oracle. In other words, Breed's probably gonna roast the fuck out of us. Yes, because cat. That is a valid reason for using that deck. Just because cat. Okay. So, see. Do we want to still do this in the reverse order of what I traditionally do it in? The way that we've done it before when we've used these two decks? Where I use the two Oracle decks before I use the Tarot? Yeah. Yeah. Alright. Alrighty. Well, let's get into it, shall we? I'm prepared to be roasted. Alright, what do you want to tell us right now? What words you got for us? Oh boy. Oh boy. We already got some, I got this one myself last night when I used this deck, or rather, very early this morning, past like 1 o'clock or so. 1 a.m. We have active love, self-care. And the second card here is service. They already got words. They already got fucking words. Self-care. Healers, nurturers, and caregivers have the innate blessings of compassion, empathy, and altruistic service. You do for others because you can, and because it's virtually impossible for you to just not care. When, however, you go to your well of inspiration and energy and find it low, or, heaven forbid, dry, there's a need to responsibly manage and restore this resource. It's often easier to be selfless with others, rather than sternly appraising time and energy directed solely on self. Time spent on self seems like being selfish. Yet in the spirit of self-care, this active love card asks you to be selfless with yourself. Give yourself the time, full attention, and love that you need to be whole and well. Direct those luminous gifts of compassion, kindness, and unconditional love inward, where they can heal and replenish you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and vibrationally. By continuing a regimen of self-negation or depleting your energy stores, you're running yourself to the ground. The beloved dead know your heart, and they surround you with support. They ask you to flip that neon open for business sign to closed for renovations. Attune to your own feelings and needs and dedicate to a beatific act of self-love. Well. Uh-oh, and I just turned right to the page where service is on. That's not good. That's never a good sign when that happens, because it's just like, yeah. We got fucking words, motherfucker. Service. Sirens blaring, and I will say too, the self-care card and the service card is definitely also kind of giving the vibe too of you can't help others when you yourself are essentially running on empty. So there's definitely that vibe with those two cards. I noticed that one right away. So remember, take care of yourself first and foremost. Service. Sirens blaring and lights flashing. When service arrives in a spread, it brings a message that help has arrived. It goes without saying that this card resonates with the expertise, dedication, and bravery of first responders and rescuers, as well as fire, emergency medical, police, and military professionals and volunteers. It recognizes those dedicated souls who diagnose, operate, give care, heal, counsel, govern, or reign. The beloved dead know that to truly be in service, you devote to something that's bigger than yourself. It's the clarion call to duty, even if it's personally inconvenient. The spiritual essence of this card also addresses the potential long-term effects of self-sacrifice. The beloved dead of service is opening a dialogue about your own self-awareness and restorative self-care rituals. Service is a loving card of intervention that asks you to stop for a moment and evaluate your well-being, mood, stress, and energy levels. It's also here in solidarity, recognizing how important it is to also keep working on yourself, for reasons of efficiency and personal safety. If you're providing structure for others, how's the health and vitality of your own container, or body? How's your emotional and energetic flow and balance? In your passionate pursuit of solution, how's your own grounding? Innovating, connecting, and leading. How's your clarity and consciousness? When this card is validating a loved one or an individual, service can also reveal a passing that may have involved an accident or a sudden medical event where urgent response and care were required. Your loved ones don't want you to hang on to any trauma involving this situation. Know that they are good and whole and want only to tend to your heart. Okay. So, very much indeed that vibe. Gotta care for yourself before you can, care for others. Okay? It's not selfish. It's necessary. Alright, what's the embroidered graveyard got? Yup. Precisely. Okay. We have here one card. And that card is Rest. A little bear makes her way to a cave in a mountain. She hibernates, and as the golden leaves of time drift by her, she grows in her torpor into the most glorious bear-shaped mountain. Trees sprout like fur from her, small and twiggy at first, but inspired by her, they grow into giant pines over generations. We are often rushing so much that we don't stop to notice the little things. The days are long, but the years are short. This card says you don't need to be a productivity machine 24/7. You can manifest as you rest. And rest is a very, very important part of manifestation, by the way. You can build, prepare, and focus your energy whilst you play. The spirit communing section for this card says we can sometimes become lost in time. Time wasted, time stressed over, and time lost. We spend a large portion of our lives asleep, but even that we don't do enough of. We are chronically sleep deprived or suffering from poor quality sleep on a global scale. Your spirits and ancestors want you to know if things feel hard, then learn to rest, not quit. You don't have to get there yesterday. You are right when and where you were supposed to be. What if we relaxed just a pinch so we actually enjoyed the journey we are on? Rest says it's happening. It's on its way to you. Don't fret, sweet one. Come sit by old Mama Bear and rest a while. And introspection says, please don't let toxic productivity get you burnt out. Take your time and give your body what it needs. Trust yourself enough to know that you can manifest easily, in tune with the universe. Rest wants you to slow up on the conscious and ego of the push and grind hustle culture. Relax and align. Manifest in your sleep by using the mantra, I trust the universe and myself that I can manifest my goal with ease and grace. Or how about this one? With an abundance of time and resources, I am achieving my goals. That one got me through the final part of creating this deck you hold. See? It works. Precisely. That is why rest is important, because you can't always be productive 24/7. Okay? That shit will destroy you. And in worst case scenario, it will quite literally kill you. You can't be on 100% of the time. You need time to take rest, and rest is one of the most productive things you can do. Society has a very, very fucking twisted view of what productivity looks like. To them, it looks like constantly moving, constantly being productive, constantly working on things, constantly growing and ever expanding. That shit doesn't exist. I don't like that just like flipped out immediately. Okay. Sorry for loud ass cars. Good lord. Anyway, we have the Hierophant reversed. Mace of Pentacles. This did initially pop out reverse, but it switched. And then the Ten of Cups. So, essentially, trust. That Hierophant card in particular is a kind of like giving, like, it's something we've touched on before about like the disconnect that's happening currently, okay? You're just feeling a little lost because you're not really like seeing that you're actually being guided, okay? Just because you're not actually seeing them like helping you, and they're not necessarily like, spirit isn't necessarily communicating with you right now, doesn't mean that they're not there and that they're not still working behind the scenes, actually setting things up with you, okay? With being a key word here, because spirit here is a co-creator, a co-manifester, okay? They can help arrange things for you, but they can't make it happen for you. You still have to put in the work. You have to trust that they're still there, that they're still helping guide you along the right path, okay? And that they're still helping you behind the scenes manifest what you want here, okay? Right now is the time to essentially work on creating what you want for yourself, okay? Figuring out what it is that you want for yourself. Planning for that. It doesn't have to be like a super in-depth plan either, okay? Does not have to be a super in-depth plan. Like, quite literally, back in like the middle of March when Adam and I were just kind of like trying to figure out like what the fuck to do, we literally sat and talked for like a few minutes, like, okay, so like this move needs to happen like now, but how the fuck do we get the money? And then immediately Adam was just like, well, I mean, I can try selling some things on eBay and see how that goes. That was literally where it began. It did go very well. But yes, now is the time to essentially set the foundation, set the plan, set into action the life that you want to create for yourself, okay? Because that Ten of Cups moment is the happy ending. It's feeling emotionally fulfilled, happy with what you've created for yourself, essentially. And just having what you want in life, okay? But also remember, too, as these cards, all three of these cards up here are reminding us, rest is an important, very, very fucking important part of the manifestation process, okay? Very important. So, I hope that message helps for whoever needed to hear it. And I will say too, one of the cards that flipped over, two other cards that I saw flip over in the deck were the Five of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups is giving the vibe of essentially just following where your heart leads you and letting your emotions and feelings, and also a bit of intuition being involved there, of course, because it's the Suit of Cups. Letting those things guide you forward, okay? More than anything else, it's not important that you trust in them. It's important that you trust in yourself. The Five of Swords is also kind of giving that vibe of, you know, like, not letting, like, past defeats and all that sort of shit get in your way. And also, there's a bit of an energy there of just, like, fighting for what you want, okay? But anyway, I hope that message helped for whoever needed to hear it. Just remember not to get too ahead of yourself here, okay? You gotta take it one step at a time. Start small. Start with a small plan. Start doing what you can to put that plan into action. Oh my fucking god, Adam. Oh my fucking god, that fucking affirmation. Right as I was saying that, what the fuck? Affirmation number 4, take things one step at a time. Slow progress is still progress, and rest is necessary. That is the perfect summation of this entire fucking reading. Thank you. Spirit's just like mic drop right there. We said what we said, bitch. Thank you. Okay. Oh my god. Can't believe that shit. Alrighty, shall we do another one? Okay. Alrighty. What else you got for us? No, no, we're not getting the self-care card again. I'm sorry, but no. No. Put that one back in, thank you. You already said your piece about that. Egg. Gonna shuffle one more time. They may only want to give us one card this time. We have home. We did get a second card. We got time. Very, very interesting ones. Home. General Contracting 101. A house is a structure with walls, rooms, and windows. Yet every house, whether an old or new build, has an energy, personality, and character that is seasoned by its history, land, landscape, building materials, the flow of the footprint in architecture, and the laughter and tears of its inhabitants. Then there's a sublime alchemy between these elements that turns a house into a home. Home has a heart. Home isn't a longitude or latitude, it's a consciousness. It's where you feel uniquely personal, deeply internal comfort and protection from the raging external. It's wherever you feel most alive, or can let down your guard, be vulnerable, and be yourself no matter what. While this is a sanctuary that engenders feelings of well-being and belonging, home isn't always your own country or place of residence. You could feel at home standing on the ramparts of a castle, overlooking narrow, winding, shiny cobblestone streets darkened by rain. Or whenever you walk into your grandmother's kitchen and take that slow, calming inhale of the herbs and savory scents that permeate the place and your memories. Home resonates with love and understanding. It's an oasis built on precious and less complicated moments, and in this space, time does its best to move backward and stand still. The beloved dead of home says that if you want to raise the vibration of your house, this is the example to follow. The Danish have a word, hygge. It has no English translation, but it's said the closest approximation is cozy. It hails from a long ago language and promotes a lifestyle atmosphere and aesthetic that comforts and consoles. There are also hygge props and ways to engage in coziness, lighting a candle or a fire, putting on an old scratchy vinyl, wrapping yourself in a soft blanket, or hanging crystals that scatter prisms of light around the room. Remember that home can also be a room, attic, shed, balcony, any nook or cranny that you can turn into your own hideaway. A power space dedicated to everything and anything that makes you unspeakably and deliriously happy and comfortable. Ooh. Getting the sense that they're saying this is the time to create this for yourself. Time. Should you receive this card, there's something significant about a date or time that factors prominently in the memory or experience of an ancestor or individual. It could be your loved one's birthday or a date they'd like to acknowledge that belongs to you or another family member. Is this the anniversary of their passing? Time also appears to say, too soon, validating a connection with a loved one who experienced an untimely or sudden passing. Taken literally, the beloved dead of time looks at a pocket watch, tapping the casing impatiently, as if to say, time waits for no one, and it won't wait for you. Or the opposite advice might resonate with you. This card could be cautioning you to rein in those reactionary horses so that you can remain patient and wait for the right timing. In any case, beloved dead of time asks that you take a beat, pause, and assess your own current experience with its passage. Okay. Definitely getting the vibe that there's just kind of like... this period is on the horizon, okay? Time where you can essentially create this space for yourself. Find this space for yourself. Let's see what they want to add. Yeah, the thing about this deck, and particularly what I like about it so much, is actually... these are vintage photos that the creators of this deck actually sourced with permission from a community. They created a community on, like, Facebook, essentially. They asked people to essentially submit photos of their loved ones, like vintage photos of their loved ones, and essentially used those photos, made, like, some edits to them and stuff so they would all be cohesive and fit the theme, and used those as artwork for the card, and I think that's beautiful. Because that just, again, like, with the purpose of this deck, it makes perfect sense that this would essentially just be, it makes sense that this would essentially just be, you know, like a, the artwork just makes sense. Like, these are actual people who lived. Actual real people who existed, who lived. And you get snapshots, essentially, of their lives through these photos. Which just allows for, like, an actual, like, fucking connection to be formed there. And I think that's beautiful. Considering that the entire point of the Beloved Dead Oracle, and the accompanying tarot deck, by the way, there is a tarot deck that they made to go along with this, that does the same thing. Has, like, photos, vintage photos that they've altered slightly. The purpose of both of those decks was essentially for spirit communing. So... like, I absolutely adore. Okay. We have another pair of interesting cards again. Wait. Hold on a second. I just noticed. Hold on a second. That caught my eye immediately. These cards go together. The first one that popped out is Truth Seeker. And we have a moth there, which... I forget the name of it. It's like... fucking... I forget the name of this moth, but this is a moth that's featured prominently on this card, Truth Seeker. We have the exact same moths shown on a smaller scale in this card. This card here being grandma. Fucking what? Okay, so the first one here is Truth Seeker. I don't know if that's how exactly that second part is pronounced. We see an Automeris Io or Io. I'm going to say Io. We say an Automeris Io moth providing eyes for our little lace skull. The Io moth has beautiful galaxy eye markings on its hind wings, and to me they imply the ability to see greater wisdom. We often allow our perception to rest like lace over our eyes, clouding our sight, to dampen our spirits, and it keeps us small. But it's important to remember perception is not reality. It's a shortcut our mind uses to conserve energy, but bad habits can be learned here subconsciously. Sometimes we must break our perception down and reevaluate it so we can see clearly once more. Spirit communing section for this says, what we tell ourselves matters, but we don't always use objective truth. Often our perspective is what we tell ourselves, and if we're not careful, we brainwash ourselves into a whole new, quote-unquote, truth. When we feel low, it's easy to look to distraction. We can Cod Maria Apartments, which is essentially, I don't know if any of you know who Marie Kondo is. That's where that word comes from. We can con Marie our apartments or buy a new outfit, and we're temporarily lifted. And yet the sinking feelings return. Until we look within and address the underlying situation, it will always return. This happened to me. I had a eureka moment when I stopped seeing myself as a victim because this kept me small and scared. Once I started to see myself as a big part of my own story, with full autonomy and power, I would tell myself I could do anything and then watch it happen. The introspection section for this card says, question everything. What you hear others say, read online, your own thoughts and actions, and find the objective truth in everything. Make sure the only time your perception of life is being altered is by you and for your betterment. We can tell ourselves hurtful things, or we can say more self-loving things, and after a while we'll believe whatever it is. So make sure it's for your growth. So, this is definitely kind of going in line with essentially the vibe that that one specifically is giving me is when we're essentially trying to create and find the space for ourselves, okay, that was mentioned in the home card, because I know I'm not the only one looking for this sort of thing right now, okay? I know I'm not alone in that. We're essentially, there are a few of us here that are kind of right now in search of finding a place to live. But also it goes a lot deeper than that too. Like it says, home isn't just a location, it's a place where you feel comfortable. And part of that process is essentially finding a place we feel we belong. Like in terms of like community, surrounding ourselves with like people who actually make us feel comfortable and confident in ourselves, who are uplifting rather than tearing you down or tearing others down, okay? And essentially, home is essentially where, as the card said, the home card said, it's finding a place where we can just be ourselves without worry of essentially what others are going to think. And to me, this card is essentially tying into that because, and I know this one from experience, when we're essentially like stuck in this place And when you've had, like, a difficult life, where, like, things haven't exactly gone your way, and you've had just a terrible time of things, okay? Those past experiences kind of influence how we see things. As I like to say all the time, we're all essentially the product of the environment that we grew up in and the way that we were raised. And unfortunately for so many of us, we didn't grow up in the best places, in the best environments, with the best people around us. And due to those experiences and the way that, like, things have gone for us in the past as we, like, try to pursue these things and create the life that we want, essentially, we essentially just get it in our heads that things are never really going to go the way that we want them to. So that's essentially where I feel this is coming into play here, okay? It's essentially not only telling you to let go of the negative self-talk and stuff, but also stop telling yourself that things aren't going to work the way that you want them to, that it's never going to go the way that you want it to, so what's the point in trying? You're giving up before you've even started. You won't know the truth until you actually try. Then we have Grandma. Grandma archetype is the divine feminine at its absolute finest. It is emotional intuition and experience-earned wisdom utilized to perfection. She is infinitely wise. Her years have been spent watching, learning, and experiencing. Aging is not something to be feared, it is a gift. In our elderly years, we can join the knowledge gained from study with the knowledge gained from living. Grandma has a unique perspective, and she is here to advise and love you unconditionally. Behind her sparkling eyes lives the brightest flame and the warmest heart. My own Grandma Brenda had this energy in spades. You can read more about her in the description for the home card on page 68. And see the beaded embroidery she created. I forgot there was a fucking home card in this deck. Oh my god. What the fuck? Okay, the spirit communing section for this card says, a grandma spirit has come through to advise you softly. They can be living or past and of any gender. She is someone who is wise and incredibly talented. They always have a cure or remedy for any ailment. She says there is more to the situation than you currently aren't seeing right now. But Grandma can sit with you whilst you discover it. She asks you to be patient and kind with yourself. Introspection section says, you have the ability to be deeply intuitive and to understand your emotions and mind on such a deep level. It just takes quieting the internal chatter. Our conscious is noisy as it retains appointment times, to-do lists, song lyrics, and more. Meditate and calm the mind using the methods in this guidebook. Check in with your body. Ask yourself how you feel. Don't grab for your phone to search for or input even more information. Instead, get quiet and present with your body. Let the information bubble up from deep within you. Okay, so definitely giving vibes of essentially, this is kind of going in line with that last one about essentially just kind of like taking time to rest and like reconnecting with yourself is kind of how you reconnect with this, like, sort of energy. Not only guiding yourself forward, but also you begin to hear the whispers of guides. Alright, what do we got here? Okay. We have upright reversed. We have the moon reversed. Six of Swords and Nine of Cups. Essentially, it is time to essentially, going in line with the other cards here, it's essentially time to essentially tune back into yourself here, okay? Taking the time to rest, to essentially unwind, and let go of the things that you're carrying with you, silencing all those thoughts and like anxieties and worries that are essentially just kind of like swirling around in your mind here, that some of the other cards here have like kind of mentioned or alluded to essentially. Like with that moon reversed card here, okay, it's reminding you that the point of doing this is essentially finding clarity again, okay? Know that while you might feel lost right now and you may not see the way forward right now, know that you aren't quite getting the full picture yet, okay? Things haven't quite fully come into perspective yet. However, trust that this clarity will soon come to you. But first, you essentially do need to take time for yourself to rest, relax, and essentially just kind of tune back into yourself, okay? Let go of the things that need to be let go of. Don't let past experiences get in your way here, okay? Trust that you are moving on to bigger and better things here. And that you're moving on towards essentially realizing those dreams for yourself, having those dreams fulfilled for yourself here, okay? That energy of essentially like dreams being realized and stuff is coming from that Nine of Cups energy. It's where you essentially this can sometimes happen in unexpected ways, by the way. That is another element to that card. Yeah. Essentially, trust that those things are on the horizon for yourself, okay? And trust that you'll have the clarity that you need. But to essentially get yourself to that space, to shift yourself into that space, you do need to take time to relax and rest. release the old like thought patterns so you can see things more clearly and see things for how they truly are. Okay? Trust that there is a way forward. Trust that there is a way forward. Even if you can't see it yet. Okay. I hope that message helped for whoever needed to hear it. That was certainly an interesting one. Okay, let me go ahead and open the queue now. Oops. There you go. Okay, queue is open. Need to take a drink of tea. Okay. You ready, Adam? Okay. Oh my goodness. Let's see what you need to hear today, huh? Okay. We have the Eight of Pentacles here. The Wheel of Fortune. And the King of Swords. So, essentially, keep putting in the work, keep bleh. Can I speak today? My goodness. Anyway. Keep putting in the work and keep tending to the details here, okay? Journey isn't quite over yet. There's still a little bit more left to go. But you're essentially in the, like, final push, okay? You're in the final push. So just keep going forward with that. Keep tending to the details. Keep putting in that last bit of effort that's needed here, okay? You're in the home stretch. Essentially, the Wheel of Fortune here is just kind of here to remind you that things are going to go in your favor here, okay? So, don't worry about, don't let those, like, anxieties... Don't let those anxieties just creep in and just start whispering to you again. Like, hey, things are gonna go wrong here. You shouldn't trust it. Shouldn't you be doing something about it? Shouldn't you be panicking? I say that because the Wheel of Fortune reversed, it did essentially pop out reversed, but ultimately it chose to go upright, which is telling me the reversal is being called on a little bit here, and I think that's just anxiety and like past programming due to past experiences, just kind of like trying to creep in here, okay? Because precisely, as you said, you're not used to it going your way. Let go of those anxieties and those worries, okay? Because things are going in your favor here, okay? And you are in alignment here. That one is coming from the King of Swords. You're in alignment, you're going in the right direction. You're doing what you need to, okay? Just keep putting in that last little bit of effort, okay? Keep going. You're close. Here. Oh, whoa. Hello. Okay. Let's see here. It's very interesting. Interesting. One of the cards here. If I remember this card correctly, I think I know what this is going to touch on. This one particularly isn't tied to this situation, but I do know what it is tied to. Okay? We're gonna put this one aside. I will read this one last. Active love, self-preservation. That will make sense shortly when I read it, probably. The next one is justice, which is going very, very, I feel is probably gonna go very, very in line with like that, energy of alignment here. Yeah, let me shift these up a little. We're gonna read justice first, okay? Okay. Justice. Literally, this is the card of jurisprudence, law and order, powdered wigs. The I solemnly swear. Justice validates an individual, experience, or loved one who, personally or professionally, has some connection with the legal or penal system. It refers to judges, lawyers, notaries, jury duty, legal documents such as wills or divorce papers, or a court of law. It can extend to correctional institution, policing, and detention centers or jail. So we're not doing like a spirit guide reading here, so that part is just, yeah. On an energetic level, justice resonates with the laws of cause and effect, and the importance of making choices from a place of alignment, truth, and sound judgment. If you receive this card, take your heart off your sleeve and shove it back where it belongs, just behind and left of the sternum. You're going to need awareness, clarity, as well as integrity, because decisions made at this time will have long-term consequences. Justice doesn't want you to sell yourself short. If you're hearing an embittered echo from the past saying life isn't fair, Justice asks, how is this old narrative affecting your trust of others, self, or belief in the potential of positive outcomes? Oh my god. This is a card that also deals with the imprint or experiences of injustice. We want to believe that goodness and decency will keep humankind in good stead, but bad things happen to good people, and somehow, incredulously, good things happen to bad people. Sometimes they elude their just reward, only adding insult to injury. This process of meting out justice can become deeply personal for Team Good. The wrongdoer seemingly walks away unscathed, but you lose faith, confidence, balance, and personal bearings. This becomes a pattern of injustice. From this position of passionate observation, it makes sense to ask the universe to, please weaponize instant karma and smite down Team Evil. History is rife with horrific events and disasters and unconscionable people who have left their indelible impact and lasting wounds. What would you do if only you had a magic wand? Beloved Dead of Justice wants to reinforce that although we were created with an innate survival instinct, we were never really given the mechanism to micromanage or police the universe. This is never a jump for joy kind of message, but one that asks that you There are like so many errors in this, and it's like making it hard. But one that asks that you become the dispassionate observer and focus on what's reasonably within your control. For your own physical and spiritual well-being, cut any energetic cords that keep you incarcerated by low vibrational emotions or the energy of vindication and retribution. When you say, I hate, you form a contract with that emotion, and like feeding sugar to yeast, that's what'll keep you blooming in your experience. Hatred. Anger will definitely get your adrenal glands pumping you full of righteous indignation and adrenaline. This might feel empowering in the moment, but it won't change anything. Essentially, the important part of that card, that was a really fucking long one for this deck, is, the importance of making choices from a place of alignment, truth, and sound judgment. Okay? That's that King of Swords energy. Okay? Going in line with, again, like I said, being in alignment, okay? You are in alignment here. You're making the right choices. You're on the right path. So just keep going. You're close to the end here with that 8 of Pentacles, okay? You're in the home stretch. There's just a little bit longer to go. This one is going to touch on a different situation. You'll probably understand when I actually start to read it. The beloved dead of self-preservation arrives when your experience of existence has shifted from a happy, carefree place into a heightened state of endurance. If you're groaning under the weight of too much of something or someone, it's time to reacquaint yourself with your own motivations for having taken on this role, and then prepare to exit stage left. Self-preservation involves an act of escape. It's asking you to untie your bonds, emotional or physical, and continue on your merry way. If you're willingly or unwillingly involved in drama, pettiness, or arguments that don't belong to you, The act of self-preservation is asking you to step out of someone else's conflict. Makes sense yet? Is there a pattern forming where you're only needed when there's a problem to be solved or an advantage to be gained? You may be a caring soul that genuinely wants to help or give, and by all means, do your due diligence, but there comes a time when enough is enough. Allow others to work through their own lessons of attachment. Remember these wise words. Not my circus, not my monkeys. In other words, let people deal with their own problems. Okay, we have Live Deliciously here. Oh shit, what card number was that? A black goat jumps over the moon phases as his wish of delicious food is granted to him. He had to take a leap of faith, allow himself to believe he is worth the reward, unless it came to be his. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Black Phillip, the goat from the 2015 film The Witch. What does the word delicious make you think of? And the word to live? To me this says sumptuous and to not just survive, but to live. Truly thrive. Consumerism would have us believe we need to buy something to feel this, but it's already within you. Do those things that make you feel truly alive. Spirit communing section for this says, your spirits and guides are telling you there are always ways we can take the amount of enjoyment in life to the next level. For example, a bath is wonderful, but what about bubbles, your favorite book, and reading it by candlelight whilst you soak? Boom, you're doing it. You're living deliciously. What if you lived more aspects of your life in this way? Take that little bit of time to turn your 6 activity into a 10. Give yourself permission to squeeze every last drop of joy out of life. The introspection section like a good chunk of this introspection section is all in bold. Use the nice things. If you take one thing from this card, let it be this. Burn the damn candles, yes, the good ones. Scribble imperfect notes in the beautiful journals. Eat the chocolate. You deserve to feel good and experience all the deliciousness this world has to offer. Perhaps you need to gain some skills here. For example, learn how to cook your favorite meal so you can have it whenever you like. Or maybe you need to create a budget so you can treat yourself with something at the end of the month. Whatever needs to happen so you are wringing every last drop out of life, please do it. This card is that sign. Don't hold yourself back. When we look into it, we often see we are the reason we haven't been doing something. Procrastination or feeling like we can't justify it are major culprits. Give yourself permission now. So, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the good that is coming to you here, okay? Know that it's not fleeting. Stop letting that past programming get in the fucking way here. Don't be a negative Nancy and self-sabotage it. I hope that message helped. Okay. You ready, Bree? One second. I need to stretch my leggy. Okay. Let's see what you need to hear today, Bree. We have the Seven of Wands reversed, the King of Wands reversed, and the Ten of Cups. Let me move these up a little bit. Essentially, there's a reminder here, like an energy here of essentially just kind of like calling it quits. An energy of just kind of like wanting to give up. Okay. Particularly because essentially you're feeling like it's not worth the fight. Okay? You're feeling like it's not worth the effort. You're essentially just kind of done with the fight, just ready to just kind of walk away and leave it behind, okay? It's definitely the vibe I'm getting, and that is primarily coming from a combination of the Seven of Wands reversed and the King of Wands reversed. Primarily the Seven of Wands reversed. Because the Seven of Wands upright is all about essentially just kind of like standing up for what you believe in. And essentially fighting for what's yours. Fighting to essentially claim and keep what's yours. Okay? And to me right now, this is essentially just kind of like saying that you're just kind of like done with the fight. You just don't want to do it anymore because, you know, you're exhausted. You're done with it. But the thing is, This is coming from a place of a lack of confidence, okay? A lack of self-esteem, not believing in yourself, not trusting yourself, and trusting that you have what it takes, and that you're going to be supported in the ways that you need to get to that happy ending with the Ten of Cups, okay? So there's a need to stoke those inner fires, okay? Stoke those inner fires. Okay? Fight for what is yours. There's a need to believe in yourself here, okay? And have the confidence in yourself, belief in yourself that you can carry yourself to the end goal here, okay? Because you deserve to have that life, that happy ending, to create that life that you want for yourself, okay? That's something you deserve. So don't tell yourself that you don't and just give up because you believe you don't. That's a fitting card that just flew out. From the Beloved Dead Oracle, we have Survive. Survive. You were born whole and unwounded, a little miracle with moving parts, hardwired to survive. Then life happens fast and furious, like a monster roller coaster. One minute you're happily plodding along the tracks, rising to scenic heights, then suddenly you're being pushed, pulled, and banked in alarming ways, all accompanied by panic and frenzied screaming. Do you ever really measure up for the ride? Still, what choice do you have? Except climbing aboard the merry-go-nowhere, the growth-defying carousel that goes round and round and round. This oracle describes a loved one or an individual connected with an experience of hardship, awful events, or conditions that were beyond their personal control. Yet, at its core, survival is really validating a loved one's remarkable and legendary strength, courage, and resourcefulness in the face of glowering adversity. Glowering adversity, rather. The totem for this oracle... The totem for this oracle is the Edelweiss, a bright and woolly, starry-shaped flower that traditionally means virtue, nobility, and rare beauty. Yet because it's found at such high altitudes and thrives in inclement conditions, this rare and hardy blossom of snow is this beloved dead's precious symbol of perseverance, and a sign of the triumph of the human condition. This card can also identify an imprint caused by a troubled caregiver who didn't make you feel like you had the right to survive, thrive, exist, or even be. If you're currently facing a mountain of challenge in your life or battling what feels like an uphill struggle, the beloved dead of Survive says, never give up. Show them what you've got. Bloom and grow. I adore that card. You do deserve, like I said, to have a good life, okay? That is something you deserve. If anyone at any point in your life has told you that you don't deserve that you don't even deserve just basic survival, or that you don't even deserve the right to exist, they can go fuck themselves. And also give me a name. And I'll go fight their ass. Only half joking. You deserve to do much more than just survive. You deserve to thrive. Okay? Ooh. Ooh. This is gonna go well with that card as well. We have Impervious. This card says there's strength to be found when you hit your rock bottom. It's only up from here, cutie. Impervious wants you to claw back your life, power, and hope one small win at a time. The undoing of you can be the remaking of you, if you choose it. For a lot of us, this is the time when we experienced depression, or a very dark and lost time. We must claw our lives back, working from the foundation up. That could mean attending therapy, changing habits, developing a self-love practice, exploring witchcraft, and probably more than a few naps. Yup. Whatever that looks like for you, take care of yourself and take the time to rebuild. This card wants you to give yourself permission to crumble apart in the best way by taking the core pieces of you and building happiness upon them one brick at a time. Indeed. That is indeed the very, very core of the tower. Yes. Spirit communing. Imagine if you could go back in time to yourself at your lowest point. What would you say to yourself? Probably that these strong emotions are temporary, and that yes, you do, despite all the odds, emerge from this. Practice this as a visualization and consider journaling your internal exploration. Perhaps go one step further and imagine your future self coming back to you now. What do they say? See the act of living for the cyclical process it is. You can escape your current pain and desperation in this way. The introspection section says, a skeleton rises from vivid phoenix flames. If you are still breathing, then you are still winning. You are that blazing phoenix rising from the ashes of your mistakes, constantly reinventing yourself, transmuting your mistakes into wisdom. Your life a reassuring cycle of betterment. You must keep going. Impervious says do not quit. You can, you will, you must, and you do. Get out there and be a bad bitch today. So, very, very much going in line with that message, okay? Believe in yourself, okay? Trust that you have the ability to see this through, to carry yourself through these struggles. And that things will work out, somehow, for the better. So, I hope that message helps. Also, Before I forget, let me go ahead and issue a last call for Q here. If there's anyone who still wants to join, you may go ahead and do so. I'll be closing it here in a few minutes. Also, good. I'm glad. Okay. I see for some reason, the Q bot didn't post the message. But, it's your turn, Nine Dawns, if you're still here. And if you're ready. Okay. Let's see what you need to hear today. Okay. Oh, I see we have an ad break. And we'll go ahead and wait here. Almost over here. Okay. We have the world reversed here. The moon reversed. Six of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords reversed. Essentially, the message here, there seems to be just kind of like some delays or obstacles or blockages of sort here with that world reversed card. And there's a need here. There's a need here for clarity, because I get the sense that with the combination of the world reversed and the moon, that perhaps you're not really quite sure how to proceed forward with this, okay? And this might be causing you to essentially just kind of like be a bit like harsh on yourself, or just feeling a bit like down, okay? And there's a need with that Eight of Swords reversed energy to essentially free yourself from any like limiting beliefs that you're holding on to here, okay? But also know that any blockages or obstacles, whether self-imposed or not, here will be released soon with that Eight of Swords reversed energy, okay? And that this moment of clarity, and seeing the way forward again is coming. Just make sure that give and take balance. There's like a balance between the give and take of the process here, okay? Definitely make sure there's a balance with essentially what you give to others, okay? That doesn't mean the exchange has to be equal or anything of that sort at all. Just make sure there is a balance there. Sorry if that was loud. My ring accidentally tapped against my mug. Just make sure there's a give and take balance there. A balance between the give and take. That could be towards like relationships, or in terms of like progress and pushing forward here is more so where I kind of get the sense, okay? Essentially, make sure you're taking action, yes, on pushing forward with the things that you want, but also make sure you're not pushing yourself too hard, okay? And if there are any like relationships or anything that are out of balance currently, make sure you're balancing the give and take of that, okay? Okay. Cool. Let's see. This one wants to add my goodness. Oh, also, before I forget, gonna be closing here, going to be closing queue here in a few moments. So, You're all good, don't worry. The last part of that message was essentially just, to free yourself from, whatever limiting beliefs that you might be placing on yourself. And that's coming from, like, the Eight of Swords reversed energy. But also know that whether any blockages you're experiencing, whether self-imposed or not, will be cleared away here soon, okay? And also, the message from the Six of Pentacles was essentially making sure that, like, the give and take of things is in balance, and that applies to both relationships. If there are any relationships that are, like, draining for you right now, make sure the give and take of those is in balance, but also make sure that the give and take of yourself, what you're putting into, like, the process, putting in towards, like, the progress, is also in balance. Meaning that, like, yes, make sure that you're putting in action and work towards, like, moving forward with things in the way that you want to, but also make sure too that you're taking time for yourself. Okay? And right now I'm getting the card from the Beloved Dead Oracle. Okay, so we have active love. Self-preservation is apparently one of the only ones that they actually want to give here. So. Self-preservation. The beloved debt of self-preservation arrives when your experience of existence has shifted from a happy, carefree place into a heightened state of endurance. If you're groaning under the weight of too much of something or someone, it's time to reacquaint yourself with your own motivations for having taken on this role, and then prepare to exit stage left. Self-preservation involves the act of escape. It's asking you to untie your bonds, emotional or physical, and continue on your merry way. If you're willingly or unwillingly involved in drama, pettiness, or arguments that don't belong to you, the act of self-preservation is asking you to step out of someone else's conflict. Is there a pattern forming where you're only needed when there's a problem to be solved or an advantage to be gained? You may be a caring soul that genuinely wants to help or give, and by all means do your due diligence. But there comes a time when enough is enough. Allow others to work through their own lessons of attachment. Remember these wise words: not my circus, not my monkeys. That's kind of going in line with the balance of the give and take, both in terms of relationships and also just, you know, progress. Putting in effort towards things, okay? So make sure you're not giving too much of yourself. One more from the Embroidered Graveyard. Okay. We have Cherish Me. Cherish Me says, linger just a little longer on the lips of your lover. Hug your friends just a tiny bit tighter, and call your parents, guardians, and grandfolk just because. Look up from your phone at your children, your nieces and nephews that are sprouting from buds to blooming flowers in front of your eyes. Take all this in and cherish these moments. because one day you will wish with all your heart and swear to do anything for just one more kiss, hug, word, or giggle, and maybe they will. No time is guaranteed, but you've got today. You've got right now, so get out there and cherish everything and everyone you see while you can. You are living, so live. This also appears to perhaps be going in line with that give and take relationship. The spirit communing section for this says, your ancestors and spirit guides want you to cherish those you share this realm with, your living friends and family. It brings them great pleasure to see their family love and be loved. Know that your guides cherish you and have nothing but love and adoration in their spooky little eyes for you. Your physical body and energy support them. Your love fuels them. Remembering them fondly is the best way you can be connected with them in sacred space. It strengthens them. They can feel this and adore you for it. It's a two-way street, and they love and unconditionally accept all of you. That line about it's a two-way street is very, very important. Introspection section for this says, what remains of the people you've lost to the ravishing of time? Is it just their bones hugged by the earth, or their ashes that will eternally swirl with the stars? No, not just these. They still live in your memories. They dance, laugh, sing, and love forever here. Please take these few extra moments to show your loved ones how you feel about them. Never scrimp on that goodbye kiss or I love you. They are so quick, but they make a life whole and full of joy. Perhaps give the love spell on page 36 a spin. It works to invite both platonic and romantic love into our lives. Okay. So, make sure there's a balance between work and play. It's definitely a vibe. So, I hope that message helped. Let me go ahead and, before I forget, close that queue there. Also, hello, Kels. Of course, thank you for stopping by. Okay. Oh, I gotta stretch my legs. Okay. One moment, let me take another drink of tea. Nice. Next Friday for me is when I prepare to move. Woo! I'm looking forward to it, but also not looking forward to it because I hate moving. But also, fucking finally. Nice. I hope those go well for you. I really do. Alright, anyway. Let's see what you need to hear today, Kels. Okay. Oh boy. Actually, let me get one. Okay. I just wanted a clarifying card. Quick. We have 4 cards for you here. We have the 5 of Pentacles. Uh-huh. We're already off to a great start. Oh, this one was eager to be set down. Okay. We have the Page of Cups. Oh boy. And the Queen of Wands, and I just wanted a quick clarifying card on that as well. Because then we got the King of Cups. King? Knight! Can I fucking read? Or speak? My god. Anyway. Cats rule the... Bleh. Apparently the answer is no, I cannot talk. When can I ever, though? Fucking when can I ever? Cats Rule the Earth Tarot by Catherine Davidson. And, the artist's name is Thiago Correa. I believe he's Brazilian. So... yeah. Essentially. There's still a message here with that 5 of Pentacles. There's definitely a sense of just kind of like being lost. Feeling lost and left out in the cold, essentially. Feeling like you're just kind of like not receiving the help or guidance that you need here currently, okay? But there's also that message always with the 5 of Pentacles of ignoring what's right in front of you. Because the reason why there's always like this image on this 5 of Pentacles card is because they're left out in the cold, but they're right by a fucking church. So many of them, which offer, function, rather, as a sanctuary for people who fucking need it. Okay? So they're choosing to remain outside rather than go inside and ask for help. Which is why that message always comes along with 5 of Pentacles. So, there is that element still of ignoring what's right in front of you here, okay? And that particularly is coming in the form of signs and symbols and synchronicities that you're probably experiencing right now. And that part is coming from the Page of Cups energy, okay? The Page of Cups is all about just kind of like... There's an element of intuition there. It's the sudden epiphany, the sudden realization, the sudden hit of intuition, okay? Just fucking out of nowhere. And along with that comes a lot of, like, signs and synchronicities and stuff. And this is essentially what they're pointing towards right now. Those are the things you're missing. They're right in front of you that you're missing currently. Probably because you're not trusting yourself enough. Not believing in yourself enough. And you're just kind of brushing it off, because like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Essentially. Like, there are signs, essentially, that are around you that are just kind of waiting for you to actually pay attention to them. So, yeah, like, I do believe they are acknowledging this as well, okay? So, it's more so a finally rather than more scolding, okay? And essentially, the Queen of Wands and Knight of Cups here together are just kind of reminding you to essentially tune into your heart and tune into your emotions, okay? Let them guide you towards what you want. Okay? Follow them, see where they lead. You'll know it when... You'll know when, because you'll feel it, okay? So trust that. Like, I fucking knew when. Immediately when. So... And then, I mean, I told you this on, like, stream the other day, is when I fucking found the place, like, because I was looking around, like, fucking 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning one day, because I hadn't been able to fucking fall asleep, because stress was just getting the better of me. And I went to go look to see, you know, if that one place still had apartments, and then the listings were gone. And then I go and check the other place on a whim. They have one fucking apartment, and I knew right away that that was the one because of some very significant things occurring with it. Mostly the buildings. I knew immediately it was the one. And then I impatiently, from that moment on, I was just like, I gotta go for it. And I was impatiently, like around like fucking like 7, 8 a.m. at this point, impatiently waiting for Adam to get the fuck up. I need to talk to you. Please. Yes, but as I told you the other night, that is a future you problem. That is a future you problem. Yes, precisely. Precisely. Future you problem. Don't worry about that right now. Okay. Okay, we got 3 cards. I'm actually just gonna take all 3 of them, because fuck it. We have Act of Love as is. Act of Love here and now. And Perception. As is. You may want something to be dramatically different. If only. Maybe if I just... Your ego rides in like the cavalry to help make sense of an unexpected and unwanted dynamic. This can't be. But it is, and so the ego tries to absorb the shock. When you receive the as-is in a reading, it's activating a truthful acceptance and acknowledgement of a situation. It requires a removal of your rose-tinted glasses, and a willingness to surrender to something that, at least for a time, is manifestly out of your control. These following 3 little words, a stark and simple mantra, help ground you in reality and provide the closure necessary for you to move on to a new normal. There it is. There it is. There it is. Here and now. This act of love stares into the aether, a space devoid of form or context. Hat in hand, he's waiting patiently and respectfully for you to return from the great disconnect, the nether regions of your restless, agitated, or mindfully numbed out mind. He invites you to sit and become aware of your surroundings, to be here and now. Come rest, be my honored guest. I will quiet your restless spirit, unload your anticipation, expectations, worry, or doubt. Be here now. If you receive this card, you're being called home and directed back to yourself, your path, and the precious gift of every second on this side of the veil. Every intake and exhale of breath, every heartbeat, every drop of rain that falls before evaporating on a hot pavement. You're being asked to be present, conscious of not taking your moments for granted. Has it all been moving too fleetingly fast? What are you missing while you're being so responsive, reactive, or hyper-efficient? Maybe once long ago, someone gave you a script as to how to be the most useful. Hurry up, don't waste time, don't take too long or overthink it, don't relax. This act of love bids you to sit comfortably in the present because the past was, the future still isn't, and you're being given the most expansive view of your potential from this vantage point in the here and now. Okay. And then we have perception. What you see is what you get, right? Well, not exactly if perception wobbles onto the scene. In this event, you're receiving notice that something is off. Catawampus. Even tail over tea kettle. Perhaps this card is referring to an individual with a precarious relationship to the truth. You might also be committed to an understanding of a person or a situation, but there's something fundamentally askew. What you're perceiving is not the truth. It's just a version of the truth. Perception doesn't judge or blame anyone for having come to this conclusion. It only advises that the impression that's been formed has gone through a personal and emotional filter. It's collected the char of past experience, blended it with... How do you even pronounce that? Blended it with current limitation, and then finished it off with a salty disdain of future potential. Oh shit, we have an ad break. I will start that card over once ad break is over, because you've probably missed it. Okay. The beloved dead of perception brings a soft, moist cloth and asks that you clean your lens. It instructs all of those airborne senses to return to their seats, buckle up, behave, and prepare for landing. Now take a deep breath and look again. The beloved dead of perception wants to help you remove whatever is keeping you from making a choice or moving forward under the influence of a wonky misperception. In other words, don't let past experiences influence how you view the future. Huh? That message sound familiar? And I know this is something that you brought up, like, even just a couple nights ago. Stop telling yourself that it's not gonna work out. Okay? Giving up before you even started is how you guarantee it won't, and that's a form of self-sabotage. As I said, I didn't think that things were gonna work out either, and I certainly didn't expect them to work out as quickly as they did. I trusted what I experienced, what I heard, and what I saw. Okay. Of course we have this one. You have Truth Seeker, which is one that we got earlier. And we also have Live Deliciously, which is one that we got with someone else, I think. Okay, Truth Seeker. We see an Automaris Eo moth providing eyes for our little lace skull. The Eo moth has beautiful galaxy eye markings on its hind wings, and to me they imply the ability to see greater wisdom. We often allow our perception to rest like lace over our eyes, clouding our sight, to dampen our spirits, and it keeps us small. But it's important to remember perception is not reality. It's a shortcut our mind uses to conserve energy, but bad habits can be learned here subconsciously. Sometimes we must break our perception down and reevaluate it so we can see clearly once more. The spirit communing section for this says, what we tell ourselves matters. But we don't always use objective truth. Often our perspective is what we tell ourselves, and if we're not careful, we brainwash ourselves into a whole new quote-unquote truth. When we feel low, it's easy to look to distraction. We can con Marie, our apartments, or buy a new outfit and we're temporarily lifted. And yet, the sinking feelings return. Until we look within and address the underlying situation, it will always return. This happened to me. I had a eureka moment when I stopped seeing myself as a victim, because this kept me small and scared. Once I started to see myself as a big part of my own story, with full autonomy and power, I would tell myself I could do anything and then watch it happen. The introspection section for this says, question everything. What you hear others say, read online, your own thoughts and actions, and find the objective truth in everything. Make sure the only time your perception of life is being altered is by you and for your betterment. We can tell ourselves hurtful things, or we can say more self-loving things, and after a while we'll believe whatever it is. So make sure it's for your growth, honeybee. Again, going in line with that perception card from the Beloved Dead Oracle. And the final one is Live Deliciously. A black goat jumps over the moon phases as his wish of delicious food is granted to him. He had to take a leap of faith, allow himself to believe he is worth the reward, and thus it came to be his. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? Black Phillip, the goat from the 2015 film The Witch. What does the word delicious make you think of? And the word to live? To me this says sumptuous and to not just survive, but live, truly thrive. Consumerism would have us believe we need to buy something to feel this, but it's already within you. Do those things that make you feel truly alive. The spirit communing section for this says, your spirits and guides are telling you there are always ways we can take the amount of enjoyment in life to the next level. For example, a bath is wonderful, but what about bubbles, your favorite book, and reading it by candlelight whilst you soak? Boom, you're doing it. You're living deliciously. Yes, it is from The Witch, that fucking movie. Yes. And that is the inspiration for the image on the card too, for the goat. What if you lived more aspects of your life in this way? Take that little bit of time to turn your 6 activity into a 10. Give yourself permission to squeeze every last drop of joy out of life. I've never watched it, but I've heard that referenced so much. The introspection section for this is, most of it is in bold, which is funny. Use the nice things. If you take one thing from this card, let it be this. Burn the damn candles. Yes, the good ones. Scribble imperfect notes in the beautiful journals. Eat the chocolate. You deserve to feel good and experience all the deliciousness this world has to offer. Perhaps you need to gain some skills here, for example. Learn how to cook your favorite meal, so you can have it whenever you like. Or maybe you need to create a budget so you can treat yourself with something at the end of the month. A budget, huh? Whatever needs to happen so you are bringing every last drop out of life, please do it. This card is that sign. Don't hold yourself back. When we look into it, we often see we are the reason we haven't been doing something. Procrastination, or feeling like we can't justify it, are major culprits. Give yourself permission now. Make sure you're responsible, but also treat yourself. Is apparently the vibe of that, like, last bit of the card. But anyway, I hope that message helps. Oof. Yeah. Oof. Ow. Thank you. Alrighty. Tummy is a little rumbly. I think it's getting hungry again. It's fine. I'll go get food after stream is over. You can behave for like another, I don't know, like 20 minutes. Okay. So. Let's see what they have for our closing message, huh? Ooh. I don't know. I might see if it's possible to go to Dunkin' and like Baskin Robbins right next door to me, like one last time. I'm getting diner food as one of my, like, final meals here, though. Because there's a diner right down the road from me that's, like, really fucking good. I'm gonna get their fucking nachos. And one of their breakfast skillets. Okay. We have the Two of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. Essentially, there's still some planning to be done, and there's still some fucking work to do here, okay? But know that you're on the right track, you're on the right path, and you're in alignment here, okay? You're in alignment, you're going the right way, so stop telling yourself that you're not doing enough, okay? Like, right now, one of the biggest things that keeps being reiterated is the need to care for yourself and the need to love yourself. Telling yourself that you're not doing enough, that you're not doing good enough, or that you're not good enough, and obsessing over the details and just essentially letting that turn into perfectionism, that ain't gonna do you any fucking good. Tend to the details, yes. Don't get lost in them. Don't obsess over them. Don't let that turn to perfectionism. And certainly don't tell yourself that you're not doing enough. Okay? Start setting up that plan for how you want to move forward with it, okay? Take those practical steps to continue moving that plan along, okay? And trust that you're doing the right thing here, that you're going the right way, okay? You got this shit. You got this shit. Okay. Oh, we did not just get that card. We did not just get that card. You know what I just said about perfection? Apparently there's a card called Perfection in this deck. Okay. Perfection. What's that? Spilled milk? Really? Who's to blame? Figures. You're right, though. There's no point crying or denying at this point, because the punishing and hysterical spirit of perfection is sending 2 highly trained canine teams and a savage district attorney. There's going to be a congressional hearing, followed by an investigation yielding testimony, evidence, and judgment that will blow this egregious mistake wide open. For the record. And prosperity. For your own good. The imprint of perfection is loud and clear. Don't make mistakes. Don't disappoint. Do more. Try harder. Something, clearly, must be wrong with you if you can't perform to an unreasonable standard of excellence. According to the experts, there are 3 kinds of perfectionism. You take on a personal mission to be perfect. You impose your crazy standards on others. Or you think others expect these unrealistic things from you. It's the triad tricycle of abuse, with a bell, basket, and streamers. While it's good to be motivated and set high standards for yourself, you can tell if your expectations are unreasonable because you'll aspire to fulfilling this childhood prediction, that you will fail. Of course, depending on the context, perfection denotes just that. Everything is perfect. The message associated with this card is that every little thing is just right. You couldn't have done more. You did the right thing. Stop being so hard on yourself. Well, fuck off. Alrighty. Okay, we have two cards. We have Star Reader and Lunasa. Wait, is this the card? Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Is this the card I think it is? Okay, it's not. Star Reader. The starlit wings of a barn owl glitter and beckon to you. The closer you come, you see what you thought were trees are actually antlers, and realize this is no ordinary owl, but a beautiful guiding phantom visiting from beyond the sultry veil. This horned owl is the symbol of divine wisdom being bestowed upon you. It looks into your soul and rasps through its beak. You must devour the written word. Star Reader, as a card, says pursue, research, seek out, and explore. This is a time of actively increasing your personal knowledge base. What have you always wanted to learn? It may be time to enroll in a course or gain wisdom through books, written studying methods, or other online resources. Spirit communicating section for this says, Spirit is communicating to you through written words. You must research and explore any book or article that you were drawn to. Within it will be a message that Spirit wants you to know. You'll know because you get a goosebumpy feeling like a mental itch that needs scratching. You will know it when you feel it. I said that earlier. In your reading there, Kels. See this card as permission from the divine and your guides cheering you on. Crack open the spine and type in the search bar and begin your journey. The introspection section for this card says, the answer will not come knocking at your door. You need to seek it out. If there is an area of study you have been drawn to, now is the time to learn. We live in a world where information is the cheapest it's ever been, if not free. Eons ago, a scholar would borrow a book from a library and drag it home, diligently studying the book, knowing they may never be able to see it once returned. Now we can search for anything, and with just a button click, have sacred wisdom under our noses. Yet for most of us, time is not on our side, so let technology help you. Watch YouTube tutorials, or listen to an audiobook whilst you do chores. Find liminal places of waiting, and learn here. Now is the time for sacred input, and you get to decide the subject matter. Okay. So. Keep an eye on written word that stands out to you, I guess. Particularly even more strongly for you, I guess, here, Kels, given, like, your message earlier. Pay attention to written word, I guess. And we have Lunasa. With all the big and showy sabbats like Yule and the autumn equinox peppering our wheel of the year, it can be easy to forget about the minor sabbats like Lunasa. That's why I like to perform a speller ritual on these sacred dates as a way to quietly mark them personally. Lunasa is the season of preparation for autumn and winter, but it is still during the summer, and often quite hot out. A red squirrel takes a much-needed rest from its foraging. As he holds a real brass acorn bead, he snuggles into the shade of a hydrangea bush. My goodness. This card is a reminder that when we are tired, we should learn to pause and recoup our energy, and resist the desire to quit altogether. We can also use this feeling as an opportunity to find ways to make our tasks more enjoyable so they are easier to complete. For example, could all those boring chores be made more interesting by listening to an audiobook or music? How else can you use this philosophy in your life to your betterment? And the rest of the card is literally a recipe for cold brew. Oh. Now I really want to go over to Duncan. Motherfucker. I guess Spirit is just like, hey, go get that cold brew. Just maybe tomorrow, because it's probably already closed. And also, it's a little too late, so no coffee. But yes, take time to pause, take time to rest. Remember that you can't always be... just taking action on things, okay? Also, hello, Phantom Punk. I'm sorry, but Q is closed for the night. It'd be great if I could speak. I've been having so much difficulty today, my fucking lord. But, thank you for stopping by, though. Unfortunately, I also just finished the closing message, too. Otherwise, I'd tell you to stick around for that. But yeah. It really is, Brie. It really is. Brain no work. Brain no work. It's checked out. It's just like, I'm done. Maybe that's why I need to go get coffee. But anyway. I hope that message helped. But unfortunately with that, it's time for me to, call it here. Yeah. 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 They definitely had some words tonight. And that's for sure. But, thank you all for stopping by. Whether you joined the queue, talked in chat, or just lurked, I appreciate you sharing your time with me, and I appreciate the support. I hope to see you all again soon, but bye for now.